Yo, what is going on, crowdfunding crusaders? It's the brain of the mainframe here now, Scala, with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Billy Tucci.
What is happening, Scala? What is happening?
Not too much, bro. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great with this awesome show we have tonight. Now, what number is this show? Is this number 90?
This is episode 90, man. 10 days from breaking that 100 episode.
Wow, and we're going to go back to our childhood and revisit all our greatest childhood memories tonight with our awesome guest.
Oh, yes. Action figure, man. Dude, we've got some great stuff. I mean, I grew up with my action figures. I'm sure you grew up with yours. I mean, you couldn't beat it, you know, and in a time I grew up, I mean, you know, I'd spend that half-hour show, right, watching my Ninja Turtles, my Ghostbusters, things like that. And then to take those adventures, I continued them with my action figures. And when I saw this campaign on Kickstarter and I saw the gentlemen that were part of it, I was like, oh, shit. These guys did the Nintendo Quest. And I was like, oh, man, and now they're crowdfunding. That's our bread and butter. And yes, we're crowdfunding comics, and primarily we talk about comics, but we do have other guests that aren't necessarily in the realm. That could be Comic-Con promoters, cosplayers, and now we have, indie video producers, directors, guys that are putting out some great content. And, man, it's great. And also tonight, we have a special guest host, Mr. Brian Blevins. Brian Blevins, welcome to the show.
How's it going? Thanks for having me. I'm super excited about this.
Yes.
Super excited about the show tonight. I've been talking to you basically forever about it.
Pretty much all day. I've been able to get a single thing done because Blevins is freaking pumped of what's going on. It's as am I. You are a fan of these gentlemen. You've seen their work. And and you are quite the connoisseur of all things pop culture. Video games, action figures, man, you eat, sleep, and breathe that stuff, brother.
Yep. Tried to do the Nintendo Quest, did not succeed. But I got pretty far, but yeah, man, it's really awesome. It's really awesome to see them go through this. And yeah, man, I'm really excited about the action figures.
Well, awesome, Nile, and just real quick, Brian, do you want to explain to our people what is the Nintendo Quest?
Well, the Nintendo Quest was they had basically 30 days to try to collect all the Nintendo cartridges that were not like, the really big ones like the World Championship cart. And basically they couldn't use the internet, which I even used the internet to get a bunch of the games when I tried to do it. But I mean, it was just crazy, their journey of going around trying to, get games from their friends and, haggle with the shops and try to find it all local. It was just, it's a great documentary for anybody who's a collector of anything. There's always that one thing that you're missing from your set, when you do collect things. I mean, even comic book collectors, they're missing a title or two from their complete runs. And I'm a big video game guy, so watching them try to collect basically a complete run in Nintendo was pretty awesome for a series. And again, I'm eager to see what they're going to do for charity with this.
So you tried the Nintendo Quest using the internet and you failed.
I did. I spent way too much.
Scala, do we know anyone who actually succeeded?
I personally don't know anyone that has succeeded.
Do we know anyone who came close?
Blevins came close.
Well, what about our freaking guest? I'm trying to lead to get to our guest.
Well, I think our guest did. But again, our guest, led this quest, but now they're on a new adventure.
Yeah, they're on a brand new one. That's what we're here about.
We're not here about Nintendo games.
Well, we got to get into Nintendo.
So without further ado, everyone, let me introduce Action Figure Adventures' very own Jay Bartlett. Jay, welcome to the show, my friend. How you doing?
Jay?
Hello, and thank you for the kind words about Nintendo Quest. I really do appreciate it, and I'm glad that you guys are fans of it. And it's actually really flattering to me that you tried to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like attempted to it, because I thought I was the only person who was completely insane on the planet. But
yeah, I definitely tried to do it. Of course, I owned a lot of the games myself personally, so like I had to, I started anew. So I have like a bunch of doubles and stuff now, and But I mean, I thought I did pretty well for what I was doing. I tried to stay within a certain price range, and when dealing with eBay and the other online entities, you could call some of the stores and haggle with them over the phone, but then shipping really killed you, and I think I was like, well, man, this is pretty hard actually trying to do all this, but man, you doing it without the internet, I mean, bravo. And I know it, I don't want to spoil the documentary, but I think what you accomplished was pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, thanks, man. And not to hijack the show here, but I just want to tell you why we did it that way without the internet. Rob and I grew up together. We're best friends. Rob McCallum is the brilliant filmmaker behind many films, but him and I used to go to the game store. We used to go to the comic store. We used to go to the toy store. And half the fun of those adventures was us just getting up and going there.
Absolutely.
And, who you would run into in the store, who you'd meet, the crazy stories you'd have along the way, and going into the stores and not knowing, you're looking for X comic or X game, and you find this other piece. So the internet and Amazon, stuff like that, is very convenient. Absolutely. You can't argue that. But the fun factor is completely drained. Unless you don't like to go outside, then it's a dream come true, right? So,
right.
I like to go outside.
Man, now, let me ask you guys: in Canada, did you guys have Funkoland?
No, we have EB Games.
EB Games,
which was also sucked up by GameStop. Funkoland was EB Games, Babbage's, I believe. Mm-hmm. We didn't have Babbage's either. No.
Yeah, what was cool about watching the whole documentary? It kind of reminded me, because you had I know you had your iPad, you had your list and things. I don't know. I know at Funkoland, you used to go in there and it was like picking up my version of a newspaper, right? With all the different consoles listed, with every game for those consoles and all the prices that they were at. And it was like you'd go every month and you'd go out and be like, all right, I'm getting this, and this. So it was kind of cool seeing you guys go out, hit the streets. You guys were hitting the US and Canada, hitting private vendors. I mean, it was just such a sweet hunt to go on. And like I was telling you earlier, that even invigorated me. And then, well, you can't see it, but I've got my stuff set up here. I've got a room set up with my, games and stuff. And it kind of relit this fire inside me to collect all this retro gaming stuff.
Oh, that's really cool, man. And I have to say that Rob and I are huge fans of a documentary called The King of Kong, which came out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it came out in, I think, 2009. And I don't want to say that was an inspiration for this, but it was definitely a video game documentary that I would always have on the background. If I was playing World of Warcraft or trying to do whatever, I would always have that on and watching, regardless of what you think, right? Watching Bill Mitchell and Todd Rogers and all the great classic gamers achieve these goals was really inspiring to us. So that kind of carried over into Nintendo Quest.
Yeah.
Man, when you were going place to place, I know that on some of the people, when you bought a stack of games, you openly said, "Hey, look, they gave me a little better deal since it was for the cause, since it was for the show, for the documentary." Did you have people that just didn't care that you were filming a documentary? Like, look, the price is the price.
Oh yeah.
Even though they were getting a little bit of advertising from you that's going to stick around. I mean, the people that are going to be their customers are people that are going to watch that.
It's still surprising to me that 4 years later or whatnot, we still walked into some stores and they didn't want to be on camera, and it was like, you know what? I know you don't know us. Okay, but we're not going to paint you in a bad light. Even if it's a bad situation, Rob wouldn't put something like that in there to villainize somebody. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, was that mostly on corporate stores, or did you actually, the mom and pop stores, were they like, you can't film in here?
Yeah, so our producer, Jordan, would call ahead, and we found out that doing this was a really bad idea because they would almost always say no. So we kind of mapped out a route through Canada and through the US all the way down to Texas. And we would just drive, and we would just literally walk up to the stores. And every reaction in the film is completely real. Nothing is recreated. So I would have to stay in the production van while Rob and the producer Jordan would go in and kind of say, hey, this is what we're doing. would you like to be a featured store? And doing that was much more successful than calling.
Dude, you would have got so hooked up if you would have came to my store. Absolutely.
Oh, you got a store? Yeah.
I did have a store. I actually sold it about a year ago, but it's called the Game Store. Yeah, and it was dude, it was pretty awesome. But it's in Arkansas, so
right.
I don't think you went through Arkansas to get to Texas on your way down, but yeah, man, like I was super excited. And again, it's man, just crazy what you guys accomplished, and that's why I'm so eager to see what's going on with the action figures, because I mean, it's, you know, if you thought Nintendo, you know, that was one genre, like or one little set, you know, now you're looking at everything for action figures.
Now, sorry, go ahead, man.
Oh, sorry, I was just going to say, before we jump to that, I do have two questions for you in regards to Nintendo Quest. First question is, how do you establish a budget for that excursion you went on? And B, did you finish it? Did you truly collect all the cartridges?
I did, yes.
Wow, that's awesome.
And to go back to one of you guys said, you know, Nintendo World Championships wasn't in there. None of the big carts were. I want to correct you a little bit because
it wasn't on your plan. It wasn't on your list.
No, it wasn't. But Stadium Events was, and Stadium Events is, in my opinion, a better story. That's debatable. It's a better story than NWC. So when we were researching the 678 carts, Stadium Events kept coming up, and I'm like, well, it came out and then it was recalled. Should we count that? And Rob's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, damn it. You know, that's going to be the one. If I don't get that one. So I knew very early on that I was going to be spending a pile just on that one game. And I'm a pretty elite collector, man. I like having the best of the best and going for those pieces that people kind of are afraid to go after.
I mean, how awesome is it? You got it with a box, man. Like, I mean,
yeah,
you know, I mean, like that was
the box Stadium Events. At the time, there was 6 in existence, and Todd Curtis, who's now a great friend of ours, he had 2 of them, so 2 of the 6. So that was pretty cool. So meeting him, knowing he had a couple of copies, and then he had 2 of the boxes, was just like, okay, I have to have this, or this movie is gonna suck.
That's insane. That is so cool, man. Do you play them? You like break them out and play them, or is it more just like you walk by and you look at it like, I did that shit?
Yeah, it was. I was originally going to do. I'm very new to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of gone backwards, so I do a little bit of YouTube just as a hobby. But back then, I was thinking, you know, I'm going to do a series. I'm going to get a capture card, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through every single game and play. Just make a little 5-minute video, and then realizing that, you know, a good 60% of the games are crap, in my opinion. And I just didn't think it would be very entertaining, and it would take way too long. So it's more looking at the games. You know, there was a room in my old house, and it reminded me of like where the idol was and Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Stadium Events was in that glass cabinet. And I would walk by, every time I walked by that room, I would like look, and yep, it's still there. Okay, we're good. Everything's fine.
Nice, awesome. So without, you know, let's get into it now. Let's change gears a bit and let's go into action figure adventure. So I'm going to bring up your campaign where you guys are currently at. And so right now you actually, it just refreshed and you now went from 103 to 104 backers. You just gained another backer. You guys have 16 days to go. You're looking for a pledge of $1,000. And now you're at almost $7,000. And you still have 16 days to go. That's amazing. So what I'll do now is I'll play the video, guys. I'm going to play the video for everyone out there. We'll start this interview off. It's about 3.5 minutes. So without further ado, let's get into this and check out Action Figure Adventure. This is the trailer for the docuseries.
Hello, Kickstarter Nation. I'm Rob McCallum, joined alongside by my usual collaborator, Jay Bartlett.
Hello.
And we're here with our next Kickstarter campaign for Action Figure Adventure. And that, of course, is the series, the journey, the quest that follows Jay around toy store to toy store, collecting action figures, but all in the name of charity. And we've got some good news for you, too.
Super exciting news, guys. Action Figure Adventure has sold. But that doesn't mean that there's going to be a physical disc unless we get help from you.
So this is your chance, your exclusive, your limited chance to see this series, this docu-series on Blu-ray and DVD.
Now we have a trailer prepared for you guys, so check it out, and we'll see you again after. Why don't we go and take these action figures that helped shape us when we were kids, and kind of go on a quest, get the best figures. We can auction them off, and all the proceeds will go to Children's Health. We're here at Bounty Hunter Toys in Hamilton. Heroes Comics, baby. We're gonna check out Toy Society. Big fun in Columbus, Ohio. Today we're in Toronto, Ontario at Treehouse Collectibles.
We got a near complete vintage Star Wars collection.
Jeff was so kind. He donated all these Marvel Avengers figures.
Is it for sale? No, we're not selling those. We had 3. We sold 2.
Everything's for sale. Now, I think that I almost like She-Ra more than I do He-Man.
Every choice that Jay makes will affect the auction outcome and in turn impact the kids that the Children's Health Foundation support.
The Child Life program alone is about $700,000 a year.
And so by Jay doing something like this, it's going to help support that. And at the end of the day, allow kids to be kids.
I'd love to see. I'd love to see $50,000.
Just take somebody out of that pain. Take somebody out of that world. And if we can go out there, and help, why wouldn't we do that?
Jay's going to be searching stores, basements, and attics for the rarest figures, the coolest play sets.
This is the beginning. The clock's ticking now.
It's the adventure of a lifetime for the most important toy ever, action figures.
Action figures give you an ability to take home your favorite character in plastic form, put it in your pocket, put it on your shelf, and experience those characters through your imagination.
The ones that were supported by cartoons, I just found you were able to then go back to your action figures and then continue the adventures.
And these were our proxies into those worlds. So if you wanted to watch Turtles, you had half an hour after school. All the rest of the time, the only way to experience Turtles was with the toys.
That's all imagination. That's all a writer is. That's all you sit around in a writer's room and go like, what if you did this? What if you did this? Same thing kids do with action figures. So action figures are incredibly important.
People in your life tell you that you need to get rid of them because you don't need them anymore. You shouldn't be playing with them. You shouldn't have them. You're growing up. I never wanted to do that. It never felt right for me to get rid of this stuff. They felt like extensions of me. They represent feelings, emotions. They represent everything. There's more out there than just serving yourself.
And that's the trailer. It's the expedition, the journey, and some might even say the adventure of a lifetime.
Now, the series starts broadcasting November 2020, but this is likely your only chance to get a copy on disc.
And of course, we have lots of different flavors for you to pick from: DVD, Blu-ray, special edition, or whatnot. So go ahead, take a look, and see what fits you best. Thanks for watching and supporting our series.
Such a kick-ass freaking show, man.
Absolutely.
That gives me like goosebumps, dude.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
You know why? Because I have all my action figures. I still have all my action figures. I can't throw them out.
Well, I mean, what I say in the trailer is true, man. I mean, there's that time, and I'm in my 40s now, and there was a time where my friend Darren and we played with toys a lot longer than we should have, right? And then we, we're like 14, 15, and we start to discover girls. And I remember the Toy Biz X-Men and X-Force line that came out. And man, I'm a huge fan of Cable, and like Deadpool was brand new at the time. And so I got these, and we went to my house and we opened them up, and we kind of just looked at each other and we were like, this feels kind of strange. Like, let's go hang out with the girls, right? And so we did that, but I never wanted to stop buying them or collecting them. And I got made fun of a lot, and people would come over and see, the bookshelves of stuff, and they'd be like, oh, aren't you a little old for this kind of stuff? And then you get into your 30s, and then it's kind of okay again, because it's like, look, I have a house, I'm paying my bills, I have a job, so it's okay now.
Yes, you just can't get rid of them. Each figure tells a story. Am I right, Blevins?
It is true. Very fond memories. I mean, I remember waking up Christmas and I had Buzz Off from the Masters of the Universe. And I remember that, and I remember like the very last Christmas I had at my grandma's house. My parents bought me the Inspector Gadget, that had the cloth cloak and all the
Really?
all the add-ons. Yeah. Last one at my grandmother's. Yeah. So I mean, again, yeah, it's just crazy how much memories toys bring back. And I think that's another reason why I'm just so excited just to see all the stuff you guys found. I mean, even in the trailer, I saw the Castle Eternia from the He-Man line, which is, I mean, super rare to even find. But yeah,
Eternia is big and expensive and very, very fragile. If anyone's ever come in contact with Eternia, it's basically a tower with 2 monorails on either side that you connect Grayskull and Snake Mountain, and it's very fragile. So there's not a lot of them that are intact that we came across, but it's a nice piece. And I didn't see all the chat here. Mandy says hi, Mandy. And Peter and everyone else, I'm really flattered that you guys are here. So thanks. Just wanted to say that real quick.
Yeah, no worries. And what I'll do is, as if we're in mid conversation, I'll try not to interrupt. But if something comes up good, I'll I'll pop it up on the screen here for us, and I'll say Mandy had trap jaw and his jaw fell off day one. I think that happened to most of us, Mandy. But one thing is, so how did this docuseries come to be? And really, what inspired this and the whole, looking for these figures to auction off for a charitable cause?
So I used to run a Star Wars themed charity group where I worked with the Children's Hospital in our town here. And so I had an in with the hospital already, but we were going there, we were, dressed in costume, and it was just a lot of fun, and we were making the kids happy. But I kind of wanted to go bigger with it. I wanted to actually, raise some real big money. And so I stopped doing the costume thing for a while. And then Rob's like, okay, well, let's do the next thing. What do you want to do? And of course, everyone wants to see our Super Nintendo Quest, right? That was kind of on the top of the list. So we kind of started writing our thoughts on it and decided maybe for the next thing, we should turn our love to our other passion, which was action figures. Like, it really is. There's nothing disingenuous about it. We still collect toys. And then we kind of wrote, well, instead of me just going and serving myself here and getting these figures that I need for my collection, why don't I get really big, exciting pieces that people will want to bid on, and then we can donate the proceeds to Children's Health Foundation. And it was just like, boom, yep, that's it.
Just a bunch of Grail pieces from all the different titles, all the way down the line.
Yeah, I mean, this was originally going to be a theatrical, and as we kind of went along with the production, there's just so much. It's like you said earlier, it's not one brand. It's not just Nintendo, right? So this is action figures from decades and shows from decades. So we had enough footage, and we kind of decided to do it episodic, which I think is a much better. It just suits this idea much better.
And I bet you still had tons of stuff on the cutting room floor too, didn't you?
There is, yeah. And we're doing supplemental material for it. So I'm actually not allowed to see any of the footage because I have to react to the episodes. And again, nothing is scripted or staged. So I haven't seen a lot of it. I've seen just as much as you guys have. So.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. So now where is the series going to be airing?
Okay, I have it written down here. Give me one second. I made sure that Rob told me exactly. So it's actually Jinx Esports TV and Super Channel, which is a huge channel up here in Canada. So that's where we've begun. So we've sold the series already. We are so incredibly thankful for. They bought it off a 2-minute trailer. They haven't seen any episodes or anything, but they've picked up our previous work in Nintendo Quest. And they know Rob through The Power of Grayskull, which is the He-Man doc that's on Netflix right now. And yeah, they just love what we do and they had faith, and so we sold it. So the Kickstarter is actually for the Blu-ray and the DVD. So if you guys out there watching, if you want a physical version, I know that's kind of strange in these times, but we believe in the physical, right? So if you want to own the series, this is what the Kickstarter is for.
That's fantastic. And now, will we be able to see that here in the States? Did those channels come here?
That I don't know.
That you don't know? Okay, we'll research it.
Yeah, if Rob was here, he could answer those questions, and I definitely don't want to misquote him. So
yeah, not a problem.
The idea is to get it worldwide, like Nintendo Quest is. So that is the goal.
That's awesome. And so we've got here. JP asks, "What do you think was the most elusive toy to find aside from the USS Flag?"
The most elusive toy. Oh wow, man, I could talk for days about this. A couple off the top of my head. There was a line in the '90s loosely based off the Dick Tracy movie, and there was a character in Dick Tracy called the Blank, which was Madonna's character. And for some reason, you couldn't get this figure. I think because the mask came off and it showed that it was a female and that it was Madonna. So they didn't want to wreck the ending of the movie. So the Blank is notoriously rare and expensive. That's one just off the top of my head.
Wow.
Then, of course, there's ones that never went to retail, like the rocket firing Boba Fett. Never was produced right because of the dangers of the actual mechanism. There's a couple.
Wow. That's crazy. I didn't know that about Dick Tracy.
Yeah, I didn't know that
figure. I had no clue about that. I feel like I had. I don't know what I had.
Yeah, everyone had the collection except the Blank. And again, Rob and I are big fans of that movie. I know it's not very popular. And
I love that movie.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Warren Beatty, yeah, it was pretty.
Oh yeah,
he was hot. Madonna was hot in that movie.
I love Madonna.
That's all.
I wish I was a 22-year-old choreographer. I'd date her.
It really reminded me of Batman, Tim Burton's Batman. It was like a really dark version of Dick Tracy. So I liked it. And for some reason, the Blank kind of got distributed through Canada, but really nowhere else. And so it's really rare. So yeah, look it up when you got a sec on eBay, and prices are crazy.
Hey, Jay, I know that like you said, it reminded you of Tim Burton's Batman. In my personal opinion, I watched it not too long ago, rewatched it. And it doesn't really hold up for me.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys. It seems really dated. But I haven't seen Dick Tracy in even longer. And I know it was made to look like the Sunday Funnies. Does that film hold up? Or do you guys, how do you guys feel about that? Or the Batman film too?
Are you talking about Tim Burton's Batman or Dick Tracy or both?
I'm talking about both. In my personal opinion, I don't think Batman holds up. The '89 Batman. I haven't seen Dick Tracy forever, but I know that film was, was made to resemble to be like a Sunday Funnies comic. Mm-hmm. And I just am curious if that film holds up, and if you agree with me that you think that Batman doesn't hold up too, or am I just talking crazy?
No. The Michael Keaton Batman, the Tim Burton Batman, I should say. We all got swept up by Batmania in 1989. It was absolutely insane. It was quite a time to live in. There was something about it that, I loved it, but there was always something about it that was kind of off for me, especially Batman Returns. I'm not a huge fan of that. So I would agree. I don't think it holds up quite as well. And this is just my personal opinion, especially when you see Heath Ledger's version of the Joker.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson did a great one, but Heath Ledger's is just insane, man.
He's by far my favorite Joker.
Yeah, same here. And Dick Tracy, honestly, I haven't watched it since I was a kid.
Okay.
Again, so yeah.
I think it holds up for me, Dick Tracy, because I know what I'm expecting. Because, like you said, it was kind of modeled after those Sunday. They kind of really went with that original feel. I mean, even the look of all the gangsters and the villains to Dick Tracy, even the design of his watch really stayed true to what was designed, 50 years ago, even when that movie was done. So that holds up better to me. Batman, it's still one of my favorite movies. Whether it holds up or not, I still have much respect for that movie and what it did. And even Tim Burton, because I don't know if you guys have seen The Flash. Did you ever see the 1990s Flash series? It's very Tim Burton-esque. It's kind of darker. And I love it. I love that whole style. But then again, being a generation that really grew up on Batman, the animated series, again, something that was influenced by Tim Burton's Batman.
I absolutely love the Flash show because Mark Hamill was the trickster.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing.
Mark Hamill it's no surprise I'm a Star Wars fan, but he's such a fantastic actor. And I would love to see a live version of him as Joker, man. Even if it's like an older Joker, like I think it would be incredible.
He's got to play Joker live. For the Trickster, that would be cool. That'd be real. Did he?
Well, he did come back.
He did come back, right?
Yeah, on one of the CW shows, The Flash. He came back as the Trickster.
Yeah, I never saw that. And didn't he wasn't his son like the next Trickster or something?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah, it sure was.
That was last season, wasn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
I think that was last season, yeah.
It was. Yeah,
Bill,
you say you're a Star Wars fan, but I see that G.I. Joe tattoo, man. What's up with some Snake Eyes?
Oh, that guy? Yeah, that's one of my all-time favorite figures is Storm Shadow, and he's if you're unfamiliar with G.I. Joe lore, he's from a ninja clan called the Arashikage clan.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually, for me, it's a Storm Shadow tattoo, but Snake Eyes has the exact same tattoo. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. I mean, I love G.I. Joe, Transformers, Star Wars, Turtles, and He-Man. Those are the 5 for us, right? So I actually got this tattoo while we were shooting in the summer this year or last year. So
nice.
You gotta put mask in there, man. You got the Thunderhawk in your advertisement. You gotta have mask.
Yeah, I'm not. Hey, we're huge mask fans. I'm not saying there's no mask. I can't give away a lot, but man, I absolutely love masks. Like more than most people. It's a little ridiculous.
Dude, I'm right there with you.
I was just watching that the other night.
Really?
I had it on here in the studio. Yeah, because I got my Plex server, so I have all my stuff on it. And
I watch it daily.
And I have all that stuff set, so it's set to like randomly play. And I had Mask playing, and then I kind of forgot like how cool it was, and I was just kind of like sitting here at my drawing table, just kind of like watching it.
It's good, and Hasbro has the license, right? Because they bought Kenner, and now they're kind of, they always toy with showing what's coming up at the toy. There's always a Mask logo.
Yeah,
but we never
any toys.
See anything. I think I don't know how well Mask would hold up. Honestly, it's kind of like the A-Team nowadays, right? Like
well, they brought it back out in comic books. They redid the whole story. I don't think that it was as good as the original, though, in my own personal opinion.
And they had Matt Tracker cross over to G.I. Joe. They actually made a figure of him, which was, okay, but it's just. As much as I like seeing Matt Tracker and G.I. Joe, I think Mask deserves its own kind of series. But this is what I say, why don't you just make it in 1985? Like, why do you have to have like a 2020 version of Mask? Just
that in
1985.
That makes perfect sense. I agree with that. Why update everything? If we liked it a certain way, just start drawing it that way or creating it this way or building it that way, But I think they're doing that with G.I. Joe.
Yeah, there's a lot of rumors with the new Snake Eyes movie. And G.I. Joe has unfortunately been put through the ringer so many times.
It was
I have to
get the Wayans brothers in it. It's a good movie.
I've never seen the live action ones, and that's the truth. I can't do it, man.
Well, speaking of,
I can't do it.
I was going to say Ray Parker in it. He plays Snake Eyes, who's actually Darth Maul. Even that didn't lure me in. I was like, I can't do it, man. I can't watch this.
Oh yeah. Speaking of G.I. Joe, though, we're working on hopefully, what is it, next week, Billy? Getting Larry Hamm on.
Yes, Larry Hamm has agreed to come on to our show.
Wow.
Who created most of those characters. And I think I'd like to see, and I could throw this out there, we could also get what's his name? The creator of G.I. Joe. The actual creator of G.I. Joe. Kurt, let me get, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank because it's late.
Well, to be completely honest, Larry Hama is, in my opinion, the father of G.I. Joe.
Yeah, I meant the action figures itself, like from 1966. That's
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, Kirk. What's his name?
What's his name?
I'm drawing a blank.
But anywho, if you want, Jay, I can send you the date that we actually have him on. If you're interested in popping on to talk to Larry for a bit, and join us and ask us some questions, you're more than welcome to, if your schedule allows.
I would 100% love to do that. We actually, we're going to try our best to shoot with Larry at Joe Fest this summer for the series. But he, to me, is such an important piece of action figure history. Having the comic book, like launching a comic book and an action figure line side by side, and then him writing the profiles. Just absolutely made those figures come to life. So you don't have Grunt the soldier. No, you flip it over. Grunt has a backstory.
Yeah,
and
you get invested.
Identify with that character, and he's just such a brilliant writer. So I would absolutely love to be on that for sure.
He really is. So that would be cool. And then maybe we could see if Kirk, who's Bazigian, his last name is to see, and he's one. Maybe he could come on later on. You know what I mean in this show. And say, we have someone who created the actual toy, the very first GI Joe toy that sold it to Hasbro or something. I don't know.
Technically, we can have 6 people on the stream at once. That works because I know Blevins wants to be on to talk to Larry.
Dude, I do like some Larry Hama, that's for sure.
And then we'll have to talk to Larry about the sketch he didn't do for Frank Amazing.
Frank Amazing. I just don't think he liked Frank Amazing.
That was hilarious. We go around. They're just what was the sketch of? It was the wrestler, right? Frank, put in the chat. I know you're out there. I know you're out there, Frank Amazing. It was he put something on there and he can't stand it, will not draw it. Frank's like, I'm gonna see if we'll do it. And we do a lap. We're talking to some artists, getting some exchanging info. We go back. Frank looks at the list. It's crossed off. He crossed it right off. But anyways, back to why we're here. All right, action figure adventures. Looking through that trailer, doing some research on some of the stuff you guys were doing. I mean, what were you looking for to auction? What were you specifically looking to get?
Because toys have always been a part of my life, I have a pretty extensive knowledge on most lines. So I was looking for stuff that I thought would be rare and kind of out of reach for the average person, if that makes sense. So I wanted stuff in the auction that people would like turn their heads and be like, oh, wow, you got a carded blah, 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 right? Instead of just having like, I can't say too much about the plot, unfortunately, because it is a story.
Yep.
So it's basically what I thought. And then, Rob would be off camera and kind of give me his thoughts too. But all the decisions were made up to me. Everything that ends up in the auction is my final choice. And there's some stuff, man, I'm not even lying to you guys, that I had in my hands that right now I still have regrets that I didn't pick it. But, you have a limited amount of time. The pressure's on. We have only so much time to shoot in these stores because they're a business that's open. We have a film crew, so we don't want to interfere with that. And just shooting schedule. We only have so much time in the day. So it's not like I can go into Toy Store X and have 5 hours. No. It's an hour maybe. So I've got to do the once around, and then I've got to kind of, a few things will stick out and I have to make a mental note of it. But yeah, it's stressful. It's exciting though.
I guess trying to piggyback on Niall's question, did you have like a top 20 for, because I know most of these were going to be for auction. Did you have like a top 20 you were going to narrow it down to, so you ended up getting ended up trying to get like 30 items and then cut down to 20? I mean, was it that kind of, or is that going too much into the plot?
It wasn't as much like that as it was in Nintendo Quest, just because there's so much more. There's not this definitive 700 items, right? There's so much. I had an idea of what I wanted for sure, but I didn't want to go into a store and it's like, okay, they don't have, I'm just going to throw it. So they didn't have the Cobra Technodrome. So I'm not going to get anything. We'll wait till the next shoot. No, I didn't do that. I would go into a lot of these stores. And I'm like, oh my God, it's, Boulder Hill from Mask.
Nice.
Stuff like that. So.
That's crazy. That's nuts. Because how overwhelming was it though? Because you were like those stores. I haven't seen I don't have stores like that around here. Well, maybe we had one, but the owner passed away and now it's closed. But the amount of action figures and everything that you're looking at, you're going through, that's all original stuff, right? That wasn't any replica stuff that was done. You were seeing the real, late 80s Turtles, the 80s GI Joes, the He-Man stuff. That's all legit. Those were legit action figures.
Yeah, I mean it's a series. Again, it's not a history lesson. Another fantastic series is The Toys That Made Us. Everyone knows The Toys That Made Us. It's a great show. But for us, it's not a history lesson on G.I. Joe or Transformers or whatever. It's more the era that Rob and I grew up with, the stuff that we loved, and Yeah, I can't say too much. Right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's that's the hard part about this, right?
We want to ruin your show.
I want to see the damn show. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Something like I have to think in the back of my mind. Oh, Mandy calls me G.I.J. That's very cool. Thanks for that.
Mandy's awesome. Mandy's part of the crowdfunding comics
well done,
team. She's
man.
one of our
You
moderators.
guys have a really great audience, man, and I love the participation. This is a great format. So I was thinking, you guys know Rhino from Mask, the rig.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
The truck.
Okay.
The truck.
So, we found one of those, and it's just like, Rob and I just go crazy over this thing. Would this be a piece that will draw people into an auction? Mm-hmm. Probably not. So as much as we wanted to get that, it's like we have to go really, really, really big because we want this to be successful for Children's Health Foundation. So yeah, every choice I make is just a constant war inside my head, and it's not pretty.
Yeah. I mean, did you feel like a big weight on your shoulders to I really have to find the best stuff to make the most money for this fundraiser?
Yeah. Being involved with the Children's Health Foundation and seeing, I always get choked up. I try not to, but going into that hospital like we did, we used to go about once every 2 months, and there's some kids that aren't going to see the next week. Mm-hmm. And, we have, Kylo Ren and Darth Vader, and these kids just want to touch that world. It's absolutely insane. Mm-hmm. To see the bravery and the struggle that these kids go through. And it's something to take them out of that world for a couple of minutes with these characters. It's another thing to actually help and give to the program that's going to hopefully save some of them. Yeah. I don't want to, we're not saving lives, I'm just, if we can add to the funding of these programs.
Yeah.
That's,
any little bit helps,
That's the goal, yeah.
And it's really cool, and I really admire what you're doing and what you've done, what you're doing, and I'm sure what you're going to keep on doing in the future. Because, I mean, what, you take, I don't know how long you stay in there, say it's an hour, but that's an hour where, that child may have actually forgot what they have because they're with a character they love, and to them, that character is real for that amount of time.
Yeah, and not to go on too much about it, but I used to do Kylo Ren myself was my character, and my buddy Chris was Darth Vader, and there was this radio telethon at the hospital, and this kid, he had leukemia or something just absolutely dreadful, right? And he was so scared and so afraid, and the guys in the radio station wanted to get him on the radio, but he was absolutely terrified until he went up to Darth Vader and Kylo Ren, and I remember he grabbed both our hands and brought us to the radio, and then he had the strength to talk on the radio. And underneath those helmets, man, Chris and I were just complete waterworks.
Oh, I bet. Oh my gosh.
The absolute bravery of these kids is so admirable.
That's you kind of have me feeling choked up right now a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
I'll tell you, dude, once you have kids, I've got 2 little guys, man, but anything involving kids, I'm just like, oh my God. You just feel this difference of just you want to protect them and make everything better for them.
Especially with kids, and I personally don't, right? I don't have kids, but imagine, your kid every single week has to go into the hospital for dialysis or whatever treatment, and I remember a few of the kids are just so brave and joking, and it's I know I wouldn't have the strength to do it. I'd be terrified. I'd be a mess.
Mm-hmm.
It's just incredible. It really is. And, same thing, being a father and all, and you're just oh my God.
Yeah. I can imagine. I can.
And of course, Facebook, you read one stupid story, right? Sad story. Next thing you know, your feed's filled with them. And you're like, oh my God, what is this?
Oh,
I don't want to keep reading this stuff anymore. But no. Blevins, you there with us?
Yeah, I'm definitely here, dude. I'm just
maybe he's choked up. I choked him up. I'm sorry.
I had to mute the mic for a minute. So dude, it's pretty rough. We have in Arkansas, we have a group called the 501st, and they also dress up in, the stormtrooper, which is awesome because, the zip code the area code for Arkansas, the North Little Rock and stuff is 501. So they get to actually call themselves the 501st, and they, they get really excited about it because they're the actual 501st, because that was the name of the group. But
those guys are great, and they're like
they're so good,
group, right? Yeah, so
man, and they do so much stuff for charity. They love to get dressed up, and I'm like, man, who's getting this? You get to dress up as the characters. You get these awesome outfits. I've seen some crazy Mandalorian. I saw a Gamorrean guard outfit. It's just crazy to see these people get dressed up, and it's like they get to have fun, and then they're also helping these kids. We have the Arkansas Children's Hospital here, and yeah, dude, they go there all the time and show up, and man, the kids love it.
Now change topic. What do you actually collect as far as toys and stuff? Because like as you're doing this stuff for charitable things, were you in these stores like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna get this for that, but I'm gonna take my money out and I'm gonna get this?
Oh, 100%. Of course I did. Yeah, and I collect again the big five. So Transformers, G.I. Joe, Star Wars, He-Man, and Turtles. Now Rob is definitely more the Masters of the Universe, obviously, and the Turtles guy than I am, but I still like myself some Ninja Turtles. But that came out at a time, the cartoon, not the comic. The cartoon came out at a time where I was getting into high school, so it was wasn't as interested, right? So, but game wise, I still collect for all systems, toys, anything that's really cool, man. I don't really have any kind of limits.
You need to sell me some of your doubles from your Nintendo Quest leftovers.
Sure, man.
Get out of here, Blevins. Get out of here. What are you doing?
Make a deal on your own time there, pal.
Yeah.
No, just joking.
I'm sure you've got the doubles, Blevins. Quick question we got here. The Mob Seat's asking, are there perks on the campaign? So I want to jump back over here quick. Now with your campaign, you guys do have stretch goals. So initially, the $1,000 a lot, that's going to get everyone a DVD or in Blu-ray discs. When you broke 3,000, you're getting a copy of the soundtrack. You break 5,000, you're getting additional bonus material on those DVDs and Blu-rays. Now, this is the cool part. You hit 10,000, you're talking additional episode.
Yeah.
So how many episodes will that bring the series to?
There is 10 right now, so this will be the 11th.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, will this be, do you guys already have the footage for this, or will you have to go out and make all new footage?
That I don't 100%. Well, there's a lot of footage, but I'm pretty sure this is like a brand new episode. Like we want it, we could gather existing footage together, of course, but no, this will be to shoot a brand new episode. That's what I'm led to believe anyway. And we still haven't shot the auction either, so that's a separate thing that we're doing actually on Free Comic Book Day here. So that's May 2nd on a Saturday.
Nice. Are you going to have a central place where you're going to hold the auction?
Yeah, we have an art house that's actually across the street from Heroes Comics, which is our headquarters. And that's the comic book store that we grew up going to, which is awesome that, they're one of our partners as well.
Nice. I think in the promo, I think I put that guy in there, if I'm correct.
Rob Wiseman is the owner of Heroes. I saw you put Smith, of course, and that was, good move. And I saw you put our buddy Glenn there. I don't remember seeing Brom, but he's such a fantastic dude. And he really is like our Obi-Wan Kenobi. I would go and we would have some donations, and I would have Brom, do you think I should go for this piece or this piece? And he would kind of break down the history. He's like, no, leave that one. You should go for whatever, Megatron or whoever. Right?
Wow. And no Power Rangers, huh?
I can never say never, but me personally, I'm not a Power Rangers guy. No, that was, again, I was in high school, so it was kind of past me, the 90s stuff.
Were you into the Power Rangers, Blevins?
No, man. I like the only groups that I liked were Lions, dude. I was all over some Voltron.
Voltron, yeah.
Or Voltron, yeah.
Yeah,
Nice,
that guy was the defender of the universe. I don't know if you know that or not.
Voltron was amazing, yeah.
Billy, what kind of rocks and sticks did you play with?
Rocks. Oh, please.
Oh, man.
Come on. Man. Dude, I got the original Star Wars toys when they came out. What are you talking about? Shogun Warriors, the original Luke Skywalker, Battlestar Galactica stuff with the with the Colonial Viper and the Cylon. What was that called? What was it? The ship?
Was this Cylon Raider? Was it
Raider? Yes, Cylon Raiders. Come on, man. Planet of the Apes, all the Mego toys. See all the stuff you guys missed. I had the Mego Batman with the removable cowl.
Oh,
I had
some of my first stuff was Big Jim actually, and the $6 million man.
I had the $6 million man. I actually was part of the Steve Austin fan club.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, man. And I got but the thing is that the $6 million man, speaking of G.I. Joe and Kirk Bazigian, who created the G.I. Joe line, they came out with Mike Powers. Before, I think he might have been called a Bionic Man. I'm not sure, but he came out. Mike Powers beat the Steve Austin, toy to the store, to the shelves, and I think it was actually superior because it was G.I. Joe size. You could look through his eye. I don't know if you could look through his eye. I think he could, but then the Steve Austin toy was actually a lot bigger, and you really couldn't, do much with it. Yeah, but he was able to lift a Ford, like a Chevy V8 350, and
Peter Gilmore wants to know if you guys are the same age, Billy.
Me and Peter, I don't know. I'm 53. Pete, how old are you?
He can't reply.
I had all the G.I. Joes. I had G.I. Joes.
He's sitting there listening, waiting for a reply.
The G.I. Joes with the Kung Fu grip that came out, Jay, and then their hands would, their fingers would kind of rot off, and you'd make like they got blown off in battle. And then they had the Eagle Eye G.I. Joe, where his eyes would shift back and forth, but his eyes would always break. So then he was just blind because his eyes would just shift like this.
Do you remember the vinyl play sets, like the original Star Trek Bridge?
Yes, I had that. I had that with the transporter.
Yeah.
Absolutely. With the light blue, the phaser and the communicator. Oh my God.
Fantastic.
And amazing. I had all that.
And the $6 million man, I remember I had the dome. Remember, you'd blow it up like a beach ball, like it was all full of air. Like a lot of the play sets back then were they were so crazy to think about it now. And I'm not talking about the cardboard ones from the 80s, but these were actually like inflatable play sets, man. Like,
the G.I. Joe ones were cool because they had the tower, which was the training tower, and it had to be probably 4 or 5 feet high.
Yeah.
And G.I. Joe could actually, it was so anchored that you could actually, he could like slide down a rope, like a zip line, like on a cable,
Yeah. Right.
And then the intruders came. They were invaders from beneath, from another world. I guess they came from under the ground, and G.I. Joe would have to fight these big intruders. Come on, man. We had all that stuff. You guys had.
We were talking about obscure toy lines, Rob and I, the other day, and I think one of my most favorite in one toy line that made no sense why they were made was Toys for the Black Hole. You guys ever seen the Black Hole?
Yeah, the Disney movie, like 1981 or something.
I thought that was her attempt to go after Star Wars. I mean, they made the robots from the black hole.
Though they made all the main characters in the 3.75-inch line, but if you watch the Black Hole today as an adult, that movie is seriously dark. Like it's almost like I call it a haunted house movie in space because it's damn eerie. And they were making like kids' toys for that, and they weren't successful. It's like, well,
that movie was too cerebral for kids to want to play with,
Yeah, it was.
You can sell it to kids. It was almost like trying to sell, stuff from, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Kids aren't going to want to watch it. They can never sit through it. Yeah. But then they had cool stuff like, would you even beat the Star Wars? Was the Micronauts. Now I don't know if you guys know what they are. I'm sure you know, Jay.
Someone actually
knows what a Micronaut is.
Yeah, Peter mentioned he was playing with Micronauts
earlier in the chat.
Micronauts were badass, man. They had Andromeda and all these cool names and they were fun. They broke in little pieces and stuff like that. Those hit. I think those were Christmas of '77. Was the Micronauts. The Star Wars missed, right? Right. Star Wars missed the Christmas of '77. They just couldn't believe how no one was prepared for it.
Yeah, and then we know the rest is history. Without Star Wars, I mean, in almost every kind of media, that none of this would be here, right? Being film, being special effects, being toys, like that film alone changed everything.
Oh, sure.
I still think it was Star Trek that did it all.
Well, you would be wrong.
I'll tell you what, though, G.I. Joe was one of the first ones. Like, you know, G.I. Joe, they had the comics that were out, then they had the cartoon, and they had the toys, but they actually had stuff like when they did the Serpentor story, like they had the Dr. Mindbender, you know, Serpentor story in the comics, and then they had the cartoon, and the cartoon was like, check out the comics. And then you were able to go down and buy the toys in stores. I mean, like,
and it was really cool.
It's so well.
I was just gonna say it's really cool to read Larry's version, which I consider the real version of the characters, and how the cartoon had to really downplay that, right? Because mortal enemies at first, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, are against each other, but in the cartoon, they didn't think that would be exciting because Snake Eyes can't talk. So instead of Snake Eyes being Storm Shadow's mortal enemy, they made Spirit. So it was Spirit against Storm Shadow in the cartoon. But of course, in the comic book, they made it Snake Eyes, right? But I always preferred Larry Hama's writing. Of course, it was much more serious and adult.
Well, you guys have to be on with Larry Hama then. I will email him first thing in the morning, Nile, okay?
Yeah, we'll get him locked in next week.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you know, and I'm curious because I'm trying to think if I can remember, you know, the 80s, it was a big time of like, you know, well, let's put a toy line out. Well, we need to pair it with something. We need to air a cartoon. We need to get kids interested. We got to get comic books involved. Which was the first series to do that?
What a cartoon with the...
Well, which was the first action figure line that they started doing the whole, we need to create a cartoon to go, you know, with the action figures, you know, like that's how they were doing it. It was like, all right, here's this cool line I thought of. Let's make a cartoon.
That He-Man did that, right? Like, I mean, that was...
Well, He-Man was an action figure first that came with a mini comic book that's kind of was a lot more dark, and He-Man's origin story was completely different. But I think He-Man is one of the very first ones, G.I. Joe, and it was just this marketing machine, right? There you would have toy line, sometimes comic, but mostly it was toy line, cartoon, and everyone says, you know, the cartoon was just an advertisement for the toy. And it absolutely was. Of course it was. That's how you do it, right? But the 80s were such a powerful time and such a rich time for creation. There's nothing has been like that in that realm, you know, since. Not even close.
I liked Micro Machines.
I don't even think they could recreate that nowadays.
No, they can't. I don't think they can create that nowadays.
Couldn't create that hype.
Well, this is a whole other discussion, right? My opinion of that is these corporations now have to make fourth quarter. So they have this huge, ridiculous dollar amount. So that's why everything is just getting remade and sequelized, because that for sure will make that money. But if you're like, hey, I have this new original script or whatever, you know, and they'll be like, nah, it's safer if we just remake Aladdin. You know? It's unfortunate, man.
It is.
It is unfortunate because the remakes aren't that great. Like, I mean, I don't really like any of the remakes right now.
Well, because the original, like, think of anything.
Like Thundercats, what did they do? Has anyone seen that?
Well, which one?
The latest,
the Asian, the one where they came out and they looked.
No, the new thing here. What is it on Cartoon Network or something?
Oh my God, the Steven Universe Thundercats.
Yeah, it's basically Steven Universe Thundercats. Yeah,
I'm
well,
out.
They did
no sense.
The She-Ra series that's on Netflix as well.
I thought that was actually pretty good.
It's not that. It's
tolerable.
Is that what she looks like, a little boy?
It's just, for me, it's silly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not.
And you don't really have a toy line to go along with it. So I don't see. I see it engaging us adults, which is sad to say, but I don't see a lot of kids, you know, talk about that kind of thing, right?
Well, I mean, the whole reason, probably you yourself, the same as me, the only reason that I even know or even care about She-Ra is because it's He-Man's sister. You know, I mean, like, it's Allura, He-Man's sister. Like, yeah, of course I want to find out what happens. You know, I became invested because I was already invested in He-Man, but there is no investment nowadays for kids. You know, there's no investment to get in, and again with the reboot, like, there is no He-Man brother. You know,
The closest thing I can think of is the constant remake and recreation of the Ninja Turtles. There's been so many versions of Turtles. Like it or not, that series is always successful. Right?
Yeah,
that's one.
Actually, they did a hell of a job bringing back IDW in the comic series.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I don't really know how much you're into comics, Jay, but the IDW, you know, that Kevin Eastman's back. You know, he bought his way back into the property, and you know, they've been doing some really good things with it.
That's great.
The animated stuff, the new stuff, I don't know. You know, he's obviously has a part in it. You know, and Nickelodeon owns them, but they only own the animation rights. They don't own the rights for the comic book stuff. So it's a darker, more mature story. But I don't know if you read any of it, Billy, but it's really pretty good. It's good stuff. That
I did a cover for him last year.
Yeah,
but I haven't read it. I didn't, you know.
I thought it was pretty good. It's
My comic knowledge is pretty much, I don't know what age you want to call it. It would be late 80s to mid 90s. And I remember when everyone, you know, when Infinity War was coming out and everyone was losing their minds. And it was so great. It was so refreshing. And I don't piss on anyone's parade, but I'm sitting there like, this was just the Infinity Gauntlet story from 1991.
Yeah.
Like, it's not this breakthrough revolutionary thing. It's like they're just retelling this story. And they're banking on the fact that not a lot of people now know about that story. Right?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though. I don't know. You guys still watch or ever catch the Ninja Turtles series, the first series? I think sometimes it's hard to watch.
Yeah, the original cartoon, the first mini series, I can't remember. It was 4 or 5 episodes.
Six episodes.
6 episodes. There you go. It was great because Shredder was actually a real threat.
Mm-hmm.
And as it went on, it goes off the rails, which is another reason I'm not a huge Turtles fan. It gets really silly really fast.
Yeah, it just got weird. Yeah, like Shredder was almost like just a little lackey.
He's a buffoon. He's a clown. Like,
Shredder! With a brain. Shredder, how dare you! Get over here!
Wow.
You like that?
Right.
Just like
my wife likes it. I'm like, hey, time for bed.
Can you
Sexy
do
lady.
Uncle Phil, though? Uncle Phil is Shredder? Can you do that impersonation?
No, that's Can you do it?
No.
Oh,
absolutely.
Blevins, can you?
No, I definitely can't.
Well, he can sing.
Yeah. I can't. What's the actor's name? I feel so terrible. I can't think of his name.
Who did Brain?
No, who played Shredder? That was Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince. What was his name?
Oh, can I? You did. No, I can't really do that one. Turtles.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, why not? What else can I do? Let's do a whole bunch of them. No.
Let's just make a show out of all this stuff.
Yeah, do Alf. Can you do Alf? Do you know who that is?
Alf the alien?
Yeah.
I don't remember his voice.
I don't either. It's
Hey, I'm Alf. I don't know. Wasn't it something like that? Like, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, like that mixed with a bit of like Garfield. If you
it's like a Garfieldy voice, right? I bet Mandy Summers can do Alf's voice.
God, I bet Mandy Summers would be incredible at an Alf impersonation.
Jay, and tell me if this is that Boba Fett action figure, the one that was never shipped out. I don't know how many were produced. The prototype. That's probably the most expensive Star Wars collectible, right?
Action figure wise, yeah. If you're talking about toys, I would say yeah, because
You don't mean props or anything like that. I meant like, the action figure. And do you guys remember how much that went for? Didn't it recently go at auction?
Oh, it's way beyond what I could ever afford at this point. So I don't even look at it. But it was because of that figure. It was pulled because of, we were talking about Battlestar Galactica. I think it was the Cylon Raider, or one of them shot a missile and it got lodged in a child's throat. And I can't remember if the child passed away or not, but it was like pretty serious. So
yeah,
they had already done the ad campaign, put it on the packaging, saying send the proofs of purchase and we'll send you this figure.
Yeah,
so there was, I'm sure, a lot of pissed off people, but
well, they still sent them out, but they had it glued inside, right? The rocket was glued.
Yeah, it doesn't come out at all. You can actually get replicas of the figure, and those are even worth like a couple $100 for the replicas.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Is that the most expensive or the most valued action figure of all time?
Well, I would.
It's a prototype. I don't know if it's.
I would say any of the prototypes would be like a lot of the Joe stuff that they were actually would sculpt the Joes out of, I think, 8-inch or 9-inch, and then they would shrink it down, right? Any of the prototype stuff is always going to win because there's one of a kind almost, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool, actually my father, my dad was a contractor, right? And one of his customers he did a lot of work for, he worked for, is it Kenner? Who did the DC action figures in the 80s? Those like Super Friend ones.
I think that was Kenner.
That was Kenner, right?
Yeah.
Superpowers, the Superpowers ones.
Yep.
I have a prototype Superman, and I also have a prototype Bat Cycle. And the guy was like, "Here, he gave that to me. Gave that to my dad for me, and then he gave my sister some other girl toys things. Like, hey, there's some prototypes to have. See if your kids like them." And I still have that Superman, less the cape, obviously. And like I was like, "Holy shit!" My dad's like, "Yeah, those are prototypes. They weren't even out yet." He's like, "You guys got those before they hit the stores."
Dude, that is amazing. That is
wow. Yeah. So I still, like I said, I still have the Superman. He's been played with because I didn't know at the time, and my dad really didn't care. He's like, "Here, have some toys." Right?
Is he painted or is he?
No, you see, he still has most of his paint on him. I don't.
Well, you played with him?
It's like it's right here.
Yeah, I'm looking. No, because I do have some of them. Like I've got the Flash is in a case, but I had some loose stuff behind the green screen.
So
is
you
like
have,
toys.
So you have the Flash in a case, but you have the prototype just laid around to be played with.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I still play with him. He's like, he like talks to me. Like people don't see it, but he's like, "Hey, now how you doing?" I'm like, "You see, Superman, you're still my best friend, pal."
He's like the Spock action figure on Big Bang.
Yeah.
to Shelly.
Yeah. He's just talking to me, bro. He's just talking. It's cool. But yeah, man.
So what? I was just gonna say that if that's true or not, that you really have it just lying around. I mean, to me, that spells like real fan. Like that's, you know what I mean? You don't have it in a sealed case in a vault or anything. It's like, no, you know what? My dad gave me this. It means the world to me, and no one else is ever going to have it. So I just have it lying around. I think that's wicked, man. You know what I mean?
I'm one of those collectors where like I collect things, but I collect to use. Like I don't CGC my comics. I don't do certain things. Like I want to hold it. Like I'm not going to really, I want to enjoy it. My games I want to enjoy. The toys, I want to hold them. Granted, I do have some stuff in package. I think everyone has a good mix. But majority of the older stuff, like I'll buy used, like especially, I think it's just something with our generation. Like I like to buy the toys I had, even if it's just to look at it, right?
Right. Yep.
And I had the Ninja Turtle sewer, and a good friend of ours, John Broglio, another fantastic comic book artist and creator. We were talking Turtles one day. I'm like, dude, I got a sewer. It's like, oh my God, I always wanted that sewer. And I was like, dude, when I get home, I'm going to ship it to you.
I got something. My friend bought, I can grab it real quick. Can you tell me if this is something? It's like original Ninja Turtles that, the one you buy for your, in the stores. He bought a fan of ours, Scott Lamke, gave it all to Matthew. All the Ninja Turtle stuff he bought for his son back in the 80s.
Wow, yeah.
Let me show you. I'll go get it. Give me a second.
Sure.
Solid.
That's crazy. I thought he'd never leave. Jeez. Man, huh? That guy's something.
Man.
But no, yeah, it's funny because I actually just broke out, like, I was cleaning through one of my storage rooms and I broke out, like, my containers with action figures. And it's funny, and I'll admit it, I don't care. I'm, like, messing with them, and all of a sudden I'm like, and then I'm like, all right, enough.
then you look, it's like, oh, is someone watching me? Okay.
Yeah, I'm like,
hey Jay, do you think you guys might really actually do the Super Nintendo Quest?
Oh, you're setting me up. You're trapping me.
Well, you brought it up. You said that was one of the ones that everybody wanted to do, but you kind of wanted to shake it up a little bit. Like I think that the Super Nintendo, man, I'm just thinking, other than the Excite Bike Speed Racer duo with the bicycle, and I don't know if you guys would definitely want to do the campus and the championship carts for that.
Well,
I think that would be awesome.
For Super Nintendo, you would have to, because I don't think the library is not as exciting. So you'd have to have something like that in there. I'm not saying never to anything, if that's a safe answer. I'm always open to it. It's just if the timing is right. Do you know what I mean? If it's the right thing to do at the time, we'll do it.
Is there any systems you're like, I don't like personally, you're just like, I'm not really going to collect that?
Nope.
No.
I play games. I don't play consoles. I've always said that. So if it's a good game and it's on the TurboGrafx, well, I guess we got to get a TurboGrafx then, right?
Mm-hmm. All right, Billy, what do you got for us here?
All right, now this is from 1988, and it says.
I had that case.
1988 Mirage Studios at Hop Hog, New York, Tara Toy Co., which is right near my house. Hop Hog.
Let's go.
He gave us this. He gave us a lot of stuff, but this is one of the things.
Yeah,
it's 12 figures.
Yeah, and it's I've never opened it. I don't think Matthew's ever opened it, so we could see what's inside of it.
Is there? I hear things. I think I'm hearing things.
Are you? Usagi Yojimbo in there. What's up?
I'm opening it now. It has never been opened. We know. So I don't know what's in.
It turns out to be like a bunch of old weird Barbies.
It's
look.
No, it's Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah. Score.
So he's got, and there's a penguin in here too, because he knows Matthew likes Batman, though.
Oh,
there is a Usagi Yojimbo in here.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have that.
Oh, cool.
His ears always bothered me.
That was my favorite.
It's like he's falling.
Pieces
I should get Stan to sign this. Stan Sakai.
Ooh, Stan. You should get Stan on the show.
What is that?
That's
Leatherhead.
Leatherhead.
Yeah. Leatherhead.
No idea.
Donatello, yeah.
Is this like a Space Monkey one or something? His head's here.
No, I think that was Raphael. What color is his
orange?
Orange.
Looks orangey. No, it looks red.
Might have been Raphael.
It's the same. It's this, guys.
It's right.
Raphael.
So those cases were fantastic. And Masters of the Universe, Star Wars, they all had those vinyl cases, man. And that's kind of like, it brings me back. That stuff is just great. And they're always worth money as long as they're in good shape, too. So that one looks like it's in pretty good shape.
It smells so good.
Yep. Old vinyl.
The figures, right? Wait, who is he?
That's Muckman, isn't it? I'm just making
that Muckman?
I think.
Muckman.
I don't know.
You have man. What,
and then there's like fun stuff like this guy.
Slash.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. Dude, one of the best enemies of Turtles in Time.
He's got him with his tongue.
Oh yeah, that's the licking Michelangelo.
Yeah, the licking Michelangelo.
He's got a little turn down.
Lick a hiney hole. Oh, look, it's got the
hiney.
Yeah,
he's missing an arm. We can't auction these things, Billy.
All right, well,
unbelievable.
I just thought it was cool.
That's cool, man. Very cool.
A whole bunch of stuff. A whole bunch.
Did he give you any play sets?
What's that?
Did he give you any play sets?
I gotta check. Or when you come over, you could look and say, "Hey, Matthew, you got any?"
Hey, Matthew, can I have that?
Yeah.
Hey, Matthew, can I have that?
I'm bigger than you. It's mine. That'll still beat the crap out of me.
Your dad said if I came all the way here, I could have this.
Yeah, your dad said if I came all the. Your dad said if I cleaned your bathroom, I could have it.
So what's Blevins? What is your most cherished or all three of you, if I may ask, most valuable, and then favorite action figures, personal action figures? Which one's your favorite, and which one is worth the most money, do you think?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, Jay go first on that one. He's probably has a bigger selection.
Okay. My most valuable. That I can't give you right away. Honestly, that's way too big.
Gotcha.
But I will say my favorite action figure of all time, besides Storm Shadow, is there was a line that came out by LJN. It was called Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and it was loosely based on the cartoon that came out. And there was an evil fighter named Warduke, and Warduke is my favorite figure of all time. He's a 3.75 inch. If you guys don't know who Warduke is, look him up because he's one of the coolest figures of all time. But that one, I didn't know anything about D&D at the time. I was too young, so I made my own story for this character. Mm-hmm. But he always won all our fights, and he beat up everybody. 100%.
Yeah. Man, like unfortunately, I don't have a lot of my toys. I will tell you though that probably the most embarrassing time that I ever had as a child, like when I showed, like, and I was like almost an adult at the time, but I wanted my parents to buy me the USS Flag at Christmas time, and man, I cried and I showed my butt like I'm like 15. I'm like 15 years old crying because I can't get a USS Flag.
The flag was an engineering, like it was such a, it showed you how big the 80s were.
Yeah.
It cost millions and millions of dollars to engineer this toy that was 7 feet something long. And everyone knows a kid at my age, everyone knows a kid who had the flag. I knew a kid who had the flag. I never did. But if you've ever seen one in person, it's a mobile. You can't move this thing. So once it's constructed, it's staying exactly where it is. And not only that, it is so fragile that it's almost impossible to find a flag that's not broken.
So I actually ended up getting it for Christmas, and me and my dad helped me put it together, and it took up so much room in my room, like that I couldn't really do anything in my room, but I was so excited about having it, right? So then like I grabbed all my Joe figures and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this, and like you can't even play on it. Like it's like it'd be perfect if I had a plane or something to land on it, but there was not anything at all. Like I didn't have any of that stuff. So here I just had this big ship and all my figures I was just sitting on. It's like, well, that's cool.
Well, there was no playset like in the ship. It was just more of just
the ship was the playset, and there's that age-old argument: is it a vehicle or is it a playset? Well, to be a vehicle, it's got to move, and this thing doesn't move, right? And yeah, I mean, I know we used to go over to my buddy. His name was Pat, and we would play, and it was the centerpiece of every Joe fight was this flag, and it was just so big. It was like an illusion for like the box. You could sleep in it. It's crazy.
But like, was there like actual, like in the playset though? Was there like levels inside the ship where your GI Joes could go, or was it really just like a basin for the top of the the top of the ship?
A small little place where there was a couple levels, and this is the argument too: is it worth the money? Because it gets called a coffee table, because a lot of collectors have the flag and they'll have a lot of things displayed on the flag.
Yeah.
I think it's worth it. I still think it's one of my favorite pieces of all time.
How much? Jesse James Cresoni has one, I believe. How much is one of those to buy? Like like you said, you're not going to find one in pristine condition, but
you can do $1,200 for a flag.
Yeah, I was going to say about $1,000 you can get one. But
I've seen them on eBay for the ones that say complete but like used.
And I think the number of pieces, I'm just throwing it out there, I don't remember the exact number. I think it's about 151 pieces. And there's one piece on the back of the flag. It's just a guardrail. Just a guardrail. And that's the rarest piece on the flag. That piece alone is easily $400 or $500 if you could. Just it's like this big. Little guardrail, but it's always missing on every flag.
Wow.
That's crazy. Now, is this stuff, let me ask you, because you obviously have like a vast knowledge of all this stuff. I mean, do you actually take the time to research this stuff, or is this really just kind of over time you've learned everything? Excuse me.
Both. I've been there. I lived through it all, which definitely helps. And I never got rid of my stuff. It always stayed with me, and I always had a deep love for all of this, like a passion. So I research it like crazy. Like I'm obsessed with researching it. And if I don't know everything about Silverhawks, well, I'm going to make sure I do.
Yeah.
I mean, so even if it's lines, like a lot of this stuff in the late 90s, I just didn't care about. So I went back obviously and researched all that stuff. And then you get into the revolution of Todd McFarlane and what he did in 2000 with his line and up from there. So yeah, no, I'm constantly reading about toys.
Now is this your day job doing this stuff now? Is this what you're doing?
We're getting there.
You're getting there? Fantastic.
Nice. Great luck with it.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, does your wife share the same hobbies and interests as yourself? Like, is this something you guys enjoy together?
She puts up with it. Where, you know, what's funny is we met because of Nintendo Quest. She actually watched the movie on Amazon Prime and just sent me a random message. And I get
look at you, buddy. All right.
I get messages all the time from people, and I try and answer as many as I can. And she's just like, "Oh, loved your movie," and I'm like, "Oh, you know, thanks, man. I really appreciate that." And then she messaged me again, and then again, and you know, I looked at her profile. I'm like, "Huh, she's cute."
Look at you. All right, so let's get into this now. I find this, you know, this is interesting. So you get the thing from her. Now you're like, well, you know, I think you're really nice. You think she's cute. How do you guys meet then? How do you meet in person? Or are you like, then you start talking on the phone for hours at a time? And this whole courtship, I just find this, because she is your fan to begin with, which is really cool. And is she still your fan? Like, did that last? Or is she like, take the garbage out? You know?
Yeah, I mean, there's no kind of starry eyes or anything like that. Like I'm, you know, we're on the same level, whatever you want to call it. But we met in Niagara Falls, which was about halfway from New York to where I live. And we just said, you know, screw it. Like, let's just meet. We didn't know, you know, she didn't know if I really was Jay, and I didn't really know if she was the girl in the photo. We all know these stories, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You didn't know if you're getting catfished.
But we met on the strip of Niagara Falls, and she's really tiny. She's so awesome. She's like barely 5 foot. And she just comes right up to me and just gives me a kiss. And I'm like, I never had that before.
Dude.
Score.
And she was so nice, and yeah, we just hit it off right away.
She was like,
I'm married. So you met it. So you met in person at Niagara Falls. You say there's no starry-eyed romantic. I mean, that's the most romantic place on earth.
It is.
You know?
Well, I think Vegas is, but hey, that's me, man. That's me.
So basically, she saw the documentary and she wanted to do a Nintendo Quest, and she's like, "What's the easiest way I could get the guy who already has all the games?"
yeah. Well, yeah. So,
Blevins, a good job hanging on there, without breaking.
Maybe I should have had
fun
before. Yeah.
And just think, when it's all over, she's still halfway there.
She's a huge gamer, so that's where our interests connected. Yeah. So she likes Star Wars and she gets the toy thing, but for her and I, we come together on games for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's great, man, Jay. That's cool. That's a cool story.
So, Jay, what's the future hold, man? You got anything you can discuss? Anything you guys, have anything planned for the future?
Rob and I?
Yeah, is it like anything you got going on projects-wise?
Yeah, once you're done editing the series and it starts airing, what's next?
Yeah.
Well, that I honestly am contractually obligated not to say, so I can't
okay.
of anything.
Nice.
Like that. There's always stuff in the works. We love doing these road trip movies. They're definitely from a place of passion and from our hearts. There's nothing disingenuous about what we do. We just do it because we love it. If you love this stuff too, that's great. If you don't, I mean, that's great too, man. You can't please everybody. So there's definitely stuff in the works, 100%.
Nice. You guys do conventions and stuff?
Yeah, we're actually starting to do appearances at cons. Well, we did that before with Nintendo Quest, but now we're getting the toy guys reaching out to us, which is great. Cool. I've got one booked in Ohio. I think that's the only one so far in May. But no, yeah, we do this kind of stuff, and I just want to say that you guys are some of the most professional guys I've met. So I really do appreciate and respect what you do, because this show is awesome.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, we're just about to hit 100 episodes, and our 1-year anniversary will be this March. So it's been a nice steady growth since we've started. It's kind of a hobby that's starting to grow a little more and more.
Yeah,
and it's tough doing this. Like I've just started to do the YouTube thing, like making my own videos and that, and it's hard, man, starting at zero, right? And it's weird because we've done the feature film and the docuseries, and I'm kind of doing it backwards now. But I wanted to teach myself editing and lighting and all that kind of stuff, so I did it. It's just a hobby, but
nice. It's yeah. Do you have a mailing list or through your website? I mean, you just send it out. Please come subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you'll get like that.
Yeah,
thousands of subscribers.
I've started to throw it out there. But I do want to say, anybody that's out there that wants to get in contact with me, I always respond back. So Facebook is the best place to do that. So please reach out to me. And I love talking toys. Love talking Star Wars and video games, of course.
Yeah, and head over to his channel. And hit that subscribe button.
So I got a
You
question.
see what I did right there? I just subscribed.
Look at that. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I want to.
I'm humble. I only have 114 for now. So
I want to be 115. I want to get there quick, unless Brian's getting there before me.
Oh, I'm already subscribed, son.
Dang it, bro!
Thank you. Guys are awesome. I appreciate that.
I'm subscribed on my personal and crowdfunding. What's that, fellas? I got 2 in there.
So
Jay, what do you?
It's really cool. I like the breakdown and stuff you do with the Star Wars stuff, with your action figure reviews and things. And I really encourage anyone out there to check out the videos. And as we do with our crowdfunding books, guys, and for the viewers that are watching now and that will watch this later on, spread the word. If you see an episode pop up, share it. Share it on your pages. You don't have to have a description. Just share it. Just like we do with the books that are coming out.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah.
Just real quick, talking Star Wars, if we may.
Sure.
And let me know if you think this is only just because of for sales, for toys and stuff. The X-Wing fighter, right? I mean, the next generation of the X-Wing was probably the A-Wing, right? I mean, the A-Wing's a superior fighter, I'd say. I mean, it doesn't have an R2 unit. Would you agree with that or no? Because you went from the Y-Wing to the X, right?
Well, the Y-Wing's a bomber, so it's got a different purpose than that. The X-Wing is the most powerful single piloted fighter. The A-Wing is just faster. The A-Wing has less firepower, but it's much faster.
Oh, it is. It does.
So there is a difference between all the ships besides selling more toys, which that was the first purpose. But
well, no, then they went back to the X-Wing. That's why for the new trilogy,
for the sequel trilogy. Well, that's pulling on our nostalgia and heartstrings.
Yeah,
that's why we did that. So.
I have a B-Wing. I have an original Y-Wing. I have one right here with a R5D4. And I have a B-Wing too.
B-Wing's so cool.
Isn't it so great? I love it.
Did you ask, were we talking to someone else, Billy? Did you ask them which was better, the Star Wars X-Wing, or was the X-Wing and then Battlestar Galactica, what are they, Viper?
Oh, yeah. Well, let's ask you that, Jay. I feel that a Colonial Viper is a superior fighter craft than an X-Wing. How do you feel about that?
Did the Colonial Viper blow up the Death Star?
Oh, dang. Look at that. Boom.
Wow. I can't hear Jay anymore because he dropped the mic on Billy.
Oh!
Wow.
You could argue that was all Luke Skywalker. Luke could have been driving a station wagon and he still would have blew up the Death Star. So.
Wow, that just shut the front door on that one.
Was the Y-Wing Vader ship or was it a TIE fighter? Asked Mandy.
Mandy, you're so cute. No,
it's a TIE fighter.
The TIE fighter. No, Vader had his own TIE fighter.
Yeah,
the Y-Wing was Porkins in a TIE fighter. I mean, a Y-Wing.
No, he was X-Wing.
He was an X-Wing.
He was an X-Wing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, though, you know when they
almost there. Was it he in remember the guy who went and he hit? No, he was in an X-Wing too, right?
Yeah, well, they all got
I
eliminated.
thought all the people that were in the trenches were in X-Wings.
Well, no, the Y-Wings got knocked out too.
They were going to do the bomber run, and they were going to go over the thermal exhaust port and drop a bomb in there.
Yeah,
but none of the Gold Squad made it. They all got toasted, right?
And the Gold Squad was the Gold Squad the Y-Wings?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, here's another question for you, Jay, and you guys. The USS Enterprise or a Star Destroyer?
Like if you're, what do I like better?
In that Enterprise.
Or who would win in a fight?
You would win in a fight. I think there's no contest. I think that Kirk and the Enterprise would.
They have shields.
They have shields and photon torpedoes and
absolutely.
So who do you think?
I think that the Star Wars ships can't hold a candle to the Star Trek ships, personally.
I mean, I think it's regular Enterprise, or are we talking the future Enterprise?
I think you just cut me off, Blevins.
We talk the original Enterprise, 1701.
I don't know about that one though.
It's tough. If you're looking at a first order Star Destroyer, no contest there because they would just deploy 10 million right at the same time, right? And it would just be a matter of them just taking over.
Well, we're not talking about Sulu and the USS Reliant or whatever he was on. We're talking about James T. Kirk. at the helm.
Well, Kirk can't lose, and I still love that scene in Search for Spock where they're on the Genesis planet and they're all on the horizon and they watch the Enterprise burn up and he's like, "My God, Bones, what have I done?" Like that scene is so awesome. Man.
Yep.
But if you put Kirk on the helm, that's like putting Luke in the cockpit, right?
Yeah,
they're gonna win, right?
Did a Colonial Viper destroy a Death Star? Oh man, I'm still on fire from that. I
gotta tell you though,
I have nightmares tonight about that.
That was just a burn. I love that.
God, it's still burning. I'm glad my son hasn't watched this because he'd be like, "Whoa!"
Like, you embarrassed me, Dad.
Burn.
I'll tell you though, that when they remade Battlestar Galactica, the series in 2003, I think the battle scenes were sick. I loved watching the Vipers all coming out, shooting out, and just how they actually did it. And like, with the little jets, it wasn't like they could just whip around and do what they wanted to. It was like, all right, we're going to blast through, shoot. And then it's like, psh, 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 just like it would really have to be. And then they realign and then they shoot in for another attack.
Yeah.
I thought it was brilliant,
I liked how they were all in pods to the pilots, and the pilots went down into the pod.
Yeah.
And right, that was, or was that Crusade? Was that Crusade, the show Crusade, or was that Battlestar Galactica?
Well, they weren't in pods.
Pilots were in a pod, actually.
Yeah, I don't remember them going down in pods.
No,
they weren't in
Crusade.
pods.
That's the show Crusade, I think. It was called Crusade, I think. Or
did you ever watch Earth 2? It lasted for one season.
No, and I never saw the new Battlestar either. I never watched the.
No.
Yeah,
Well, they started it off with like just I think it was like a little mini series in the beginning, right? It was like
four
3
episodes.
Four episodes.
Yeah.
But that's what I'll still watch it now. Like sometimes I'll literally get in the mood just to watch the battle scenes. That's it. And the chicken.
I gotta check it out now. That sounds super exciting. I love the space battles and all of the sci-fi movies, so it sounds great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Are you a Doctor Who fan?
I'm not. No, I apologize. Yeah.
Finally, another one that's not. I was really feeling like shit. Am I the only one that's not a Doctor Who fan?
I give Nile so much trash over not being a Doctor Who fan.
Well, I'm not a real Doctor Who.
How can an owl be a doctor?
I do like but I love the Spitfires in space. The War of the Daleks, the one with the Spitfires that they all went up in space. They were flying Spitfires in space.
So the way my brain thinks is this, Billy. This is how I look at it. It's like the time I spend watching whatever season of Doctor Who is time that's taken away from researching more Star Wars stuff.
I hear you, bro.
But it's true, man. It's like I think you only have so much time with these fandoms, right?
Yeah.
So.
Oh, thank you, Mandy.
Jay, if you don't mind me asking, have you watched shows like the Toy Hunter? And I don't know if you've seen that, but there was a show like apparently I guess there was a guy that was able to get these rare toys, and he would fly across the United States or fly around to find these rare toys for these collectors. And it was called the Toy Hunter, and I think it ran for like 2 seasons.
Right. Yeah.
And
I remember that now. Yeah. Was that on Sci-Fi?
Because he was stuck in just the action figure line, do you think maybe something like that, but on the scale of what you do with all kinds of collecting, like action figures, video games and stuff, do you think that like a actual series, like an actual TV series, could be done regularly for something like that in the pursuit of finding rare things for people?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if a network is willing to pay us to do that, of course we would do that. I mean, it's a great idea. So you'd almost be like Indiana Jones, right? It's like you got to find the.
That's actually the first time I ever saw the the backpack firing Boba Fett. Like one of the guys had a prototype of it, and he bought it. I think at the time he bought it for like $14,000. He bought the prototype, and it was just sitting in a box in the guy's basement.
Yeah, I do remember the show. I remember hearing of it. I don't think I ever saw any of the episodes, but it sounds really cool, man. Like it's not on still. Is that what you're?
No, yeah, it's definitely gone away. I think it was just because it was just action figures, and he started getting into some really obscure stuff. Like when he started getting into like Russian droids and trying to find like the coined mint on card Star Wars. Star Wars was like their big one.
Right.
And then he tried to find some prototypes from Thundercats and stuff that was only in like one episode that they made prototype toys. And then he tried to get like the play sets, and he tried to do like the Batman with the utility belt and
Travel Channel.
Yeah, it was on, like I said, I think it went on for 2 seasons.
Right.
And the guy was really energetic, and it was a really good show, but I think that with it just being toys, it kind of lost its flair.
Toy Hunter, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. That guy does look familiar.
Yeah, 3 seasons. It was on Travel Channel.
Okay. Did you guys ever watch Kevin Smith's Comic Book Man?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've got Ming coming on in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. Okay. So that was a show that Rob and I would watch too. That was definitely part of this inspiration as well, right? We would love seeing the customer come in, and they would bring Luke's lightsaber from Empire or whatever, and the guys would kind of appraise it and give them a value. That was really cool, man. It was like Pawn Stars for toys, almost kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, our friend Mitch was on. He was the guy. If you saw the episode, he was dressed up as Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
He was on. John Cimino was on. He was the Hulk guy.
Yeah.
I think he came in with the stretch Hulk, right? Is that what it was? Yeah, it was like a Stretch Armstrong Hulk. Neither of them sold anything.
Right.
But they were both on that show. That was fun. That was cool. But
Yeah,
all right, guys.
We're big Kevin Smith fans, so to have Kevin in our series, that's a huge deal for us. We grew up obviously with the 3 Clerks, Mallrats, and Chasing Amy, and Rob and I would have the laser discs, and Mallrats in particular had a completely different opening than the one that we got. And Kevin put the deleted scenes on the disc, so Rob and I actually cut our own version with the story that was taken out. We put it on a VHS tape, and we thought we were pretty cool at the time. We have the original cut of Mallrats, and everyone would be like, "Oh my god!" And yeah.
We went to the premiere for that. He had one at San Diego Comic-Con. I think it was '95.
Right.
And because I was on a panel with Kevin, and he's just such a sweet guy. I mean,
yes. And
he remembers everything from the '90s. From like before he got big, and he's like, remember the premiere? Like, yeah, it was just, it was. He's such a great guy. He's a great ambassador for the entire industry.
When I was
geek culture, I guess.
When I was, back when I was just a guy going to these cons, I think I met him in 2003, and he was just walking down the hallway, no entourage, no security guards. And I'm like, oh my God, my buddy Mike and I went up to him, like, hey, Kevin. He's like, hey, how you guys doing? He signed our Clerks comic. And that was one of the first interactions I had with, a celebrity. And when I started to realize that, he's just a guy. He's just a guy, man. He has no ego.
Yeah.
It's the same when I met Mark Hamill a few years ago, and he was just so nice. That was one guy I was terrified to meet, because that's my guy, right? Like Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
So to meet Mark, and he's so tiny, right? He's like my height. He's 5'7", and he's just like, oh, hi, how you doing? And just like a regular guy. It really puts things in perspective.
Yeah, Kevin's the type of guy, man. I would love to get him on the show, because he just seems so down to earth in everything that he does. And I follow him on Facebook and Twitter and all this stuff, and he'll just randomly go live. And I love it too, because he's usually high as fuck, like high as shit, just on his desk. He's like, look at the ants. I'm following these ants. Look,
Billy is going to make that happen.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I'll see what I can do.
We'll see what we can do with that one. But yeah, no, he seems like such a great guy, and I loved Comic Book Man. I liked that show. I loved the stage. I get it, but it was entertaining. Brian and all those guys are pretty funny.
They're all good guys. They're all cool guys. And it's again that whole down to earth thing. I mean, look at Jay. Jay's going to be too big to talk to us a year from now.
That's why I was like, we got to get him on the show before.
Get him on now.
Hurry up, get him on.
Oh, stop it.
Then we can say one day, yeah, we had him on the show. He dropped the mic on Billy.
Yeah, that's right. Burn.
Do you remember when that happened, Nile? It was so awesome.
Yeah, and then Jay will be like, I don't remember that. Who?
It's like, who are you guys?
What? No, I don't remember that. Yeah, we got a lot of swells. We hang out, our friends. Jimmy Papiai and Amanda Connor are in London now for the Birds of Premiere. The premiere of Birds of Prey. I mean, man, look at this.
As soon as you guys started talking about Larry Hama and you actually knew about Larry Hama, you had me there. I'm like, okay, these guys know their stuff.
I had dinner with Larry Hama last Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night.
Well,
and his table was next to mine. So I would walk up to him and say, Larry, what are you doing for dinner? You want to, he's like, nothing. I was going to get a burger at the hotel. I'm like, nah, come out with us. So we went out. We had hibachi Friday night. Then Saturday night, we had this real authentic place called Monroe's. We were in Albuquerque. Real authentic New Mexican food. And then Sunday night, we invited Marv Wolfman and his wonderful wife to join us. So we had a great table. I'm sitting there next to Larry Hama and Marv Wolfman, just talking about everything, and just.
So, are you trying to drop the mic on me? Is that what you're saying?
No, I was going to set up like
Hey, really,
I'll introduce you, and we'll all go out. No, I wouldn't do to you what you did to me.
Oh, that's good.
That'd be great too. Now, if all goes plans, possibly this Thursday, Marv will be joining us.
Yes,
and we can talk Crisis and his cameo.
Yeah,
in the last episode of Crisis.
Yes. You know what, Blevins and Scala, maybe we should become movie stars too now.
God, that would be great. Except I have a face for radio.
I mean, I have a body for films, but I'm like, I'm not going to give them a 6-pack when they can have a keg, right? It's all about the deal.
I am proud to say that I have a body of a 19-year-old, and it's still in the basement in a box.
That's great.
I knew that was coming. I don't know why.
Thank you. You did.
That's just weird.
I'm part of a small child.
On that note,
jar right on my desk. I could show it to you.
Getting old,
what?
Fun,
The heart of a small child.
Like I devour. I'm a vegetarian, but I still love my pizza, right? So I devour the pizza, and then when you wake up the next day and you feel it in your stomach, you're like, oh my god, man! I remember when I used to eat like a whole pizza and it was like nothing, and now you can feel it and you can see it, and you're like, oh shit, man!
Now the best is when you think like, I don't look too bad in this, and then like you see some photos, and you're like, man, you can see my man boobs and my belly. I'm like, oh no, what's that doing there?
Maybe we should all go vegan, be vegetarians.
No, you know what? They just get those. They've got like Spanx for dudes now. It's a whole shirt you put on and it forms everything.
Really?
Yeah, for real. I saw it. I was like, that's kind of cool. I'll do that.
On that note,
I'm gonna Spanx it. That didn't work right. That didn't work right. But yeah, man, Jay, thanks so much for joining us. And unfortunately, Rob wasn't able to join us tonight with his scheduling conflicts. I know he's doing a bunch of interviews and things today. He had a flight to catch. So we definitely appreciate you joining us tonight. And yeah, man, it's great. We'll let you know when Larry's gonna come on. I'll shoot you a message. And if you want to join us, you and Blevins can pop back in. We can talk G.I. Joes with a legend.
I'll be there 100%, man. You can count me in. And again, I thank you guys. Your show is absolutely amazing, and it's just so professional. And I really appreciate all the publicity you're giving us. So thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. We'll keep sharing your Kickstarter on our platforms, our channels, and see if we can help get you guys to 10,000 or over. And fantastic, dude. I can't wait to get my DVDs.
You'll get it. You'll get it.
I can't wait to watch it either. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, guys. I do appreciate it. And anytime, man, I'll be back anytime you guys want.
Cool.
It's an honor to have you on, sir.
Thank you.
Yes. All right, everyone. Thanks so much. We'll be back tomorrow night. I'll post up some promos for tomorrow night's episode. Fortunately, I ran out of time today, but I will get them up first thing in the morning. And I will be back.
Crowdfunding call out?
I do a crowdfunding call out. I'm not at it yet, bro.
All right.
I was going to go out. I mean, you just like all sorts of like rushy with me. I'm telling you. Yeah, tonight I'm going to do a crowdfunding. Actually, I want to refresh this here. So it was interesting. There was a challenge and they did it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, John Malin wanted to get to over 1,000 backers on Graveyard Shift because they only have 30 hours left. So let me pull that up here for everybody. I'm going to get it on here. That's what I'm doing. Got to change the screen up.
And that's for a variant cover, right?
Yeah.
1,000 backers. Holy cow. Good
Here
for
we
you,
are.
man.
Yeah, so this is Graveyard Shift. For any, I'm sure most of our viewers are familiar with this. For those that aren't, I'm going to play the video as long as it's not too long. If it's too long, I'll cut it short. But let's check out the campaign video for Graveyard Shift Volume 2. And this is the Andrew Huerta variant.
Hey everyone, my name is John Malin. I'm a comic book artist who's worked on titles such as Youngblood, Cable, Deadpool, New Warriors, Thunderbolts for Image and Marvel Comics, but I'm probably best known for leaving Marvel Comics to break the Indiegogo crowdfunding record for a comic with creator Richard C. Meyer called Jawbreakers. I followed that up with Volume 1 of the graphic novel Graveyard Shift with co-creator and writer Mark Polton. Now we are offering the next exciting chapter of the Graveyard Shift story and want you to bear witness to this newest battle between good and evil. If you missed out on Volume 1, fear not, we're including a Volume 1 variant cover option. So what is Graveyard Shift? Graveyard Shift, in its simplest form, can best be described as what if the Universal monsters were the X-Men. It's an homage and love of all the great superheroes, sci-fi, and horror of the 20th century. If you love superheroes that gain their powers from science experiments gone awry, then you'll love our story of murdered scientists that were forced into their own experiments, rescued only by fate, and given the opportunity for revenge and saving the world from a rising supernatural evil. Join Vladimir Blood, Mick the Monster Mayhew, and his estranged wife Lilith Mayhew as they come to grips with their new lives as the undead and face off against the Dark Lord Dracula. We have lots of cool things planned for future volumes, but need yours in order to get us there. So please share this campaign on your social media after your purchase and help us spread the word. Thank you all very much. Have a great day, and you're going to love this book.
Some kick-ass music. I like that. Yeah, guys. So if you can, he's got 28 hours left. They're at 1,021 backers at 63,000. So let's see what we can do to help push this and get Graveyard to maybe 70,000. I think that'd be pretty cool.
That's awesome.
That is awesome, right?
That is.
And Jay, you're in a band. Are you in a band or we're in a band?
Yeah, I've been playing music my whole life. Yeah.
Drummer?
Drummer, yeah.
Drummer. Yeah. What kind of set do you have or you play on?
We're just playing rock tunes for fun. I've been in bands that have done tours and stuff like that, but now we're just kind of jamming once a week and playing local shows when we all have time. We're all adults now, so there's not a lot of time. But
what kind of kit do you have?
I have a Pearl World kit from 1995.
Ooh.
Inspired very heavily by Dave Grohl's. So the toms are 18 and 21 inch.
Nice.
They're big.
Nice. Yeah, so I've got a Pearl Export Select, which was my first kit. And then I bought a used Pearl Masters kit a while back.
Nice.
Which is, I wish I had set up, but what are you going to do?
Very cool, man.
Get yelled at.
I know a lot of people nowadays don't know that Dave Grohl was the drummer for Nirvana. They just don't.
And that is so weird to me, man. Like that is just, it's crazy.
It is.
Yeah. And but he still drums on Foo Fighters stuff too. Sometimes. And then he was also the drummer for what was the other band?
Oh man, he's been in countless.
Yeah, I know.
Queen's drummer.
Queens of the Stone Age.
Queens of Stone Age. Yeah, Queens of Stone Age.
Yeah. He's also, if you guys didn't know too, he also drums on Tenacious D's albums. He's the drummer on the record.
Is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah. He also played the devil in the was it the video?
He's the devil in the video, and he's the devil in the film, The Pick of Destiny as well.
Yeah.
Pick of Destiny. Yeah.
Nice. All right, guys. Well, thanks again, and Jay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate you coming on, Blevins. It's always good to have you on to
thanks for having me
guest host. And Mr. Tucci, the one and only,
my friend,
my compadre, my amigo, partner in crime. Another great show, my friend.
This has been fantastic, Jay. Looking forward to having you back on, and same thing with you, Blevins. When we have Larry Hama on, this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. I'm pumped. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, everyone. So have a great night, and we will see you again tomorrow at 9. So keep an eye out for tomorrow night's guest. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night.
Blevins.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night. Hey, Scala.
Yeah, Blevins.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Jay.